Hello everyone, welcome back to my top 5 7DRL entries of this year, honourable mentions. So I actually did the top 5, and then I was taking a look at some games that didn't make the cut for my top 5 entries this year in the 7-day roguelike contest, but that nonetheless are worth checking out. And it's been a while since I did the last one, but there are still some games, I think maybe 3 or 4 games left, that I really think are worth a look, although they didn't make my top list. This one is called Beware of Strange Warp Points, which, apart from being a fantastic title for a game, is also based on the Space Empires series of 4X strategy games, which I'm not familiar with. I mean, I've heard of them, but I'm not a big 4X player at the best of times. So this is kind of a roguelike-ish take on some stuff connected to that series of games. I suspect it's a loose connection, so to speak. And before we get started, I want to mention that this is one of those odd roguelikes that make a decision I don't really approve of. There are often slightly questionable design decisions in 7-day roguelikes because they're made in a hurry. You don't necessarily have time to refine all of the interface and make sure that everything is done in the optimal, most user-friendly fashion. But nonetheless, it's worth mentioning that this is one of those games which mostly uses the mouse, but then mostly uses a keyboard, but then forces you to use a mouse for some things. So movement and most of the stuff you'll do is performed using the keyboard. But for stuff like, if you want to look at the components of your ship here, you have to click on the Components button. And then it brings up actually a separate window, which will be out of frame at the moment, but I'll move it in for you. There you go. And you can look at all of your components. But you have to use the mouse for that bit. And it's pretty awkward using the number pad, using your right hand on the number pad to move around, and then having to switch your hand over to the mouse to do certain things. That's a little clumsy, but it's not the end of the world. So anyway, you might look at this screen here, this window displaying all the details of our ship, and react the way I did, which is to go, holy crap, this looks complicated. You might also get that impression from the fact that when you download the game, it actually comes with a manual. I mean, it's not that long a manual, but most roguelikes basically just have, key bindings. Sometimes not even that. Usually any instructions are very cursory. This one actually contains some form of manual, and look at all the stats here. But it's actually not as complicated as it looks, and you don't even need to know what all of the stats are really about in order to play and enjoy the game. So for things like, for instance, armour coverage, at their sort of top right-ish section, armour coverage, 248 HP at 25%. Don't exactly know what that means. I've got an idea, but I'm not 100% clear on it. But it's fine. Doesn't prevent me playing and enjoying the game. However, a lot of these things are important, but you will get to know what they mean as you play, basically when you go to shops. Because a lot of these stats will be increased by items that you can buy. Your shields, things like emissive armour listed there, which doesn't mean anything to you right now. When you buy items that increase your emissive armour, it will tell you what that does when you're looking at the item. Scanner range is fairly self-explanatory. Sensor range, I mean, that's, again, the items, when you buy those upgrades, explain what they do. One of them is basically your line of sight range, and the other one is how far away you can detect enemy ships and bases. So these are actually not as complicated as they look. Let's get started on gameplay, shall we? So you move around with the number pad, and of course you're the @ symbol here. And the blue squares and white squares and such around you are a combination of sensor range and weapon range for different things. That's probably the most confusing part, actually. It's not entirely clear which weapons are which range, unless you just know which weapons are long range and which are not. But that's fine. So we're in space, as you might guess. The yellow star in the middle there is a star, i.e. the sun of a system. And all of these circles are planets. The white ones are unexplored, untouched. And you will find that you can often get minerals and things by bumping the planets. Watch this. We'll bump this one. There we go. It's blue. Contains an allied colony, so we can bump it again to dock. Let's do that quickly. So again, pops up a little window, which I'll move into frame here. And it has shops. So here you can buy any of these things. And this is what I was talking about, where I said it tells you what these things are. Stealth armor. Degrades targeting locks by 1% per tile. Wave motion gun. Long range. Very powerful, slow to reload. Ion engine produces enough thrust for a 200k KT ship to move at speed 1. So then you'd look at the mass of your ship on the right there. And see, we have a 436 KT ship. So you can work out how much thrust you need for certain speed. Point defense, cannon, blah, blah, blah. Armor, etc. So things do actually tell you what they do. And shops all sell different stuff. So you'll want to shop around a bit. The other advantage of bumping into an allied base like this is it actually repairs any damage when you do so. So that's going to be very useful. That will keep you alive. The key things I want to see, I don't know if my pointer will be recorded. Bandicam doesn't always record the mouse pointer. But on the right here, hit points and shields are obviously important. But some of the other vitally important stuff on that side of the screen is crew and mass. Because there's a relationship between how much crew you need for the mass of your ship. I can't remember offhand what it is right now, but it is stated somewhere, I think in the manual. It tells you how much crew you need for a certain mass of ship. You need to have crew over a certain amount for the size of your ship. And as you begin to add weapons and armour and things, you will gain mass, and thus you will need more and more crew to be able to fly it. Let's start roaming around a bit, shall we? So this one's grey. We've scanned that already, and that means there's nothing there. And the ways that your ship can be destroyed here are, if you're actually taken out completely, fine. If your engines, your propulsion systems are damaged to the extent... See, this yellow one has some stuff on it, so let's mine that for minerals. $31 worth of minerals. I'll move this into the frame again. So you can see this thing sells different items to the other one. There, simple enough. So if you're completely destroyed, that destroys you. Or if your propulsion systems are damaged to the extent where you no longer have enough thrust to propel the mass of your ship, that's the end of the game. And if you have too few crew to man a ship of your size, then that is also the end of the game. So there are a few ways that you can game over here. And one of the most common ways, at least in my experience, is to lose too much crew. Because it's very easy to keep buying new systems, which adds mass, and not get new crew, and then a few of them are killed off in battle, and that's it, game over. And that's one of the most interesting things about this game, as we move from star system to star system here, is trying to balance gaining benefits by adding more systems and upgrades to your ship against the risk of running out of crew or taking too much engine damage. You have to balance off the size of your ship against the risk that imparts. Now you'll notice that an F in a red square has just come onto the screen. That's an enemy ship. I should mention that the mission here is to destroy a set number of shipyards. I think it's 10. Something like that. Scattered around these systems. You can see the star systems in the mini-map in the top right. And there are so many enemy, basically ship production factories. And you have to find them and destroy them. Combat happens automatically. Basically, your ship fires automatically when you're within range of an enemy ship. Let's demonstrate that now. So we'll just kind of fly around within range of the enemy ship. And we destroyed it, because our weapons were firing automatically as we were moving around. And if you look at the messages at the top there, you'll see it told us when we're firing anti-proton beams and such, but one of the most important parts is where it says on the 5th line down, the Draenor, whatever, fighter's engines are destroyed and it's dead in space. So that ship wasn't actually destroyed, we just damaged its engines to the point that it couldn't propel itself anymore. So that's effectively a victory. And we're looking for these spaceship production factories. when we find them, we have to take them out in the same way as we're battling ships here. And let's mine for more minerals. We'd better go shopping in a minute. Actually, we should stop at a friendly planet soon, because we've probably taken some damage in those couple of combats. So let's head back. Oh, crap! Okay, see that hash sign? That is the shipyard. One of the shipyards we're looking for. So, we have to take this one out as one step closer to completing our mission. But of course, it's a shipyard. It produces ships, so it's going to be defended. Now, with multiple targets like this, your automatic combat actually prioritises. So, it will shoot at the shipyard first, which makes sense because that will stop it producing any more defences. So as we circle around, it'll destroy the shipyard first, and then the ship itself afterwards. So let's see if we can do that. Actually, I'll pull away, destroy that ship first. You'll notice also, in the messages at the top, we got $507 worth of salvage from destroying that ship, so that was quite a haul. Now we'll have to kind of dodge around here. There we go, took out the shipyard. So let's head... Oh, another enemy ship. Run away, run away. Oh crap, another one. Okay, head into this friendly planet. Oh, of course, I forgot that. You can't go to friendly colonies when there's an enemy ship nearby. So we need to destroy that. Try and avoid the other one. Any luck? No such luck. Let's dodge out of the system. And let's just run away, see if we can find a friendly place somewhere else. Okay. Now, one of the things that does happen as you take more... There's one. I'll move that into the frame again. So, we've now been repaired. But if you look at the mass of our ship, it's now 406 KT, which means some of our systems have been destroyed. We're at lower mass. And now shields are down at 55 of 100. So, we might want to get... We have $1,098. We might want to spend some money, $450, buying a shield regenerator, which will recharge our shields more rapidly to increase durability in combat. So let's buy that. One of the oddities of this system is that it doesn't alter your standing amount of money until you exit this window, like that. Now it's updated to $648. So let's go back in there again. What else might we want to do? We might want a Ripper beam, an anti-proton beam. But you'll notice that the mass of our ship has increased somewhat again since we added that shield regenerator. So, we would need... You know, if we keep going at that rate, we might need to get more engines and more crew. More crew are actually surprisingly hard to come by. Long-range scanner allows enemy ships and shipyards to be scanned in detail and remote exploration of planets, so that's good. For the time being, I'm going to buy a Ripper beam, which will automatically be equipped to our ship, and then I'm going to move on. So this is basically how the game plays. It seems very complicated, and there is some complexity to making sure you balance out all the stats and things. But once you get into it, the gameplay is fairly straightforward. Okay. But one of the things that does tend to happen as you take damage in combat is things like your sensors will start being destroyed, and you'll find that you can no longer identify planets as easily. And in some cases, you'll find that you're in a position where the only way to spot a nearby enemy shipyard is to physically enter or try to enter the space that it's in, which is a bad position to be in. So anyway, I think I've rambled on about this for quite long enough already. This is one of the honourable mentions from this year's 7-day roguelike contest. Ooh, stealth armour. Another shield regenerator. No, let's take a point defense cannon or two. Yeah, this is didn't make the list, but it is worth playing and certainly worth a look at least for the curious. This is Beware of Strange Warp Points. Thanks for watching, everyone, as always, and I'll see you the next time.